Welcome back to Parenting Pulse. Today we're diving into sibling dynamics, those moments of love, laughter, and let's be honest, occasional chaos.
We're unpacking Siblings Without Rivalry by Adele Faber and Elaine Mazlish. It's not just a parenting classic. It's a mindset shift. One of their core ideas? Don't treat kids equally. Treat them uniquely.
That blew my mind. I always thought fairness meant sameness. But they argue that giving each child what they need, not what their sibling gets, is actually more respectful.
And it's backed by research. Studies show that perceived parental favoritism, even when unintended, can fuel sibling resentment and long-term relational strain.
Exactly. And they talk about roles too, like the smart one or the troublemaker. Even positive labels can box kids in.
Which ties into identity development. Kids internalize these roles, and it can shape how they see themselves and each other. Faber and Mazlish suggest using names instead of labels. This is Maya and Leo, not my oldest and my wild one.
Another gem? Let kids express their anger safely. Don't shut it down. Guide it. One parent in the book let her child say, "I hate my brother," and responded, "You're really mad at him right now." That validation helped diffuse the tension.
Which aligns with emotion coaching research. When kids feel heard, they're more likely to regulate themselves and less likely to lash out.
They also emphasize letting kids solve their own conflicts, unless it gets physical. That builds negotiation skills and resilience.
And it's not about making siblings best friends. It's about helping them coexist with respect, even when they disagree.
Now, one standout is the new spouse exercise. Imagine your partner brings home a new husband or wife and says, "Don't worry, you'll love them." That's how a child feels when a sibling is born. Suddenly, their spot feels threatened. It's powerful for understanding a child's jealousy.
And that explains why toddlers sometimes regress when a new baby comes. A kid who's potty trained suddenly has accidents again. It's less about ability, more about craving lost attention. That empathy ties to a core theme: acknowledge feelings, not behavior. The idea is to say, "I see you're angry," rather than judge. And to treat each child as unique, not compare them.
Totally. The phrase "to be loved equally" is somehow to be loved less. Focusing on unique attention rather than strict equality. Sticks with me. So brief.
And it's action-oriented. Faber and Mazlish encourage stepping in when conflicts escalate, guiding resolution, but allowing independence when possible.
Parents appreciate that approach. One wrote, "It's invaluable for raising 3 kids close in age and influenced their whole parenting philosophy."
Beyond the book, research on sibling relationships supports this. Siblings often mirror long-lasting bonds. Rivalry stems from comparisons, unfair treatment, or birth order expectations.
True. Research notes rivalry peaks in early adolescence, especially among close in age or same-gender siblings. Over time, relationships often become more egalitarian.
And you really see that in families. Like when a toddler who's been potty trained suddenly regresses when a baby brother comes home. It's not about losing skills. It's about wanting attention back. The book says acknowledge the feeling, not shame the behavior.
Exactly. Instead of, "Stop acting like a baby," a parent might say, "It's hard when mom is busy with the baby. You wish I could hold you more." That empathy often diffuses the tension. Acknowledge feelings. Instead of saying, "Stop being jealous," you might say, "It's hard when the baby gets so much attention." Empathy takes the edge off.
Now here's where some research pushes back. A Dutch study found when parents always jump in, it can actually escalate rivalry. Example: 2 brothers fighting over Lego. If mom steps in immediately and says, "You get this piece, you get that piece," they never learn to resolve it themselves. But when parents coach, like asking, "How can you solve this?" kids build negotiation skills.
That makes sense. I know a mom of 3 in Spain who said she had to learn to let her daughters argue it out unless it turned physical. She'd set the rule: no hitting, no name-a-calling, but let them debate. Over time, they fought less because they learned boundaries.
And cultural context plays a role. In Scandinavia, social policies give families more shared time, like long parental leaves and after-school programs. Research shows siblings there often report more cooperation than rivalry. A Danish example. Kids talk about doing chores as a team, not competing for who does more. That equality focus comes from the broader culture.
Compare that with southern Italy, where big families are common. A study found rivalry is sharper because siblings compete for limited attention. I read about a case where 3 brothers compared grades constantly: who got the better math score, who mom praised more. It was almost like a built-in competition system.
And then there's perception. The book says, don't compare, but kids notice anyway. A German study found it's not actual favoritism, but perceived favoritism that fuels rivalry and whether kids feel they're treated unequally. For example, a teen might feel dad always praises the younger sister, even if dad thinks he's being fair. That perception creates resentment.
That's so real. I remember someone telling me they were the middle child, and every birthday they compared their gift to their siblings. It didn't matter if the value was the same. The perception was, mine is smaller, and that stuck.
Then there's birth order. Firstborns often become the responsible achievers, while laterborns take the role of funny one or rebel. The book doesn't highlight this much, but in Germany and the UK, studies show those patterns again and again. Firstborns tend to achieve higher levels of education compared to their laterborn siblings. The effect is attributed to greater parental time and cognitive stimulation for firstborns, not necessarily socioeconomic dilution.
On the flip side, in collectivist cultures, rivalry looks different. A study in Turkey found older siblings helping with homework wasn't seen as a burden. It was our successes shared. That sense of shared identity reduced jealousy even when parents couldn't split attention equally.
Which shows that Faber and Mazlish's advice, focus on each child's uniqueness, still applies, but it plays out differently depending on culture. In the US or Europe, that might mean avoiding academic comparisons. In collectivist societies, it might mean balancing shared responsibility with individuality.
One more. Research from the Netherlands adds a twist. A 2019 study found that when parents always step in, like dividing toys during fights, conflicts drag on. When parents coach instead, asking questions like, "How can you solve this?" kids learn to negotiate better. Example: 2 brothers fighting over Lego. Coaching works better than refereeing. Bottom line? Siblings Without Rivalry gives powerful empathy-based tools for parents to adapt. Sometimes coaching instead of intervening, sometimes addressing perceptions of favoritism, and always accounting for culture and family size. The books advise: acknowledge feelings. Instead of saying, "Stop being jealous," you may say, "It's hard when the baby gets so much attention." Empathy takes the edge off.
And honestly, Siblings Without Rivalry is worth reading. It's practical, funny, and packed with real examples. If you've got kids at home, or even if you're just curious about family dynamics, it's a valuable resource.
We'd love to hear from you. What sibling stories stand out in your family? Did rivalry shape who you are today? Share your feedback with us.
Coming up next week, how to support sibling bonds through shared rituals and one-on-one time. But for now, that wraps up today's episode. Until next time, keep parenting with empathy, and remember, rivalry doesn't have to define sibling bonds.